Hello, everyone. This is Program Coordinator TJ Hicks, and on behalf of Rancho Mirage Library and Observatory, it is my pleasure to welcome you to today's virtual lecture. We are very excited to be launching our Culinary Journey series with local chef Shannon Bush. Before we get started, we want to take just a moment to thank the Rancho Mirage Library and Observatory Foundation and all of our foundation donors for your continued support. It is this support that allows us to continue providing the type of high-quality programs we know you expect. We have some things coming up soon, so be sure to check the library's website and sign up for our email updates to hear about everything we have planned in the weeks ahead. And for those of you curious, we are happy to let you know that a recorded version of today's program will be available to view on the library's YouTube channel by the end of the week. And now to introduce today's speaker. Chef Shannon Bush has been a plant-based chef for over 30 years. She has worked as an executive chef, head baker, caterer, and culinary instructor. She loves to demonstrate the many benefits of plant-based eating and to prove that healthy food can be delicious. If you enjoyed today's program, be sure to join us again virtually as we journey with Chef Shannon to Italy on November 9th and to Mexico on December 14th to explore more delicious plant-based foods. One final note, today's program will conclude with a question and answer session. You can use the Q&A or chat feature on Zoom to type in your question. By asking a question this afternoon, you might even end up being sent a special prize. And without further ado, it is my pleasure to hand things over to Chef Shannon Bush.
Hi, TJ. Thank you very much for the nice introduction. And before I get started, I do want to thank you and the library for making this possible. I can't wait until we can do this with everybody in person again, but this is the next best thing, and I'm really grateful to be here. So with that said, welcome to our version of plant-based Japanese cooking. I first became interested when my oldest child decided that she was going to go to college in Japan. And when I first took her, I thought that I would enjoy visiting Japan, but what I didn't realize is that I was going to absolutely fall in love with Japan. It is a beautiful country with warm, welcoming people, and I just can't get enough of it. Every time I come home, I can't wait to go back again. So I hope that my enthusiasm for all things Japanese is contagious and that you'll too take a look at visiting Japan or at least trying some of the foods of Japan. When I first visited, one of the things that I noticed right away is how healthy the people looked. It was really remarkable. Of all the places I've traveled, that's never really, caught my attention like it has with Japan. The people have clear, healthy skin, bright, clear eyes, healthy, shiny hair. It's just a marked difference going from our country to their country. And so, because I'm always fascinated with nutrition, plant-based eating, I set out to really pay attention to how they eat. And one of the things that I noticed about the way they eat is that every meal is full of a rainbow's worth of food. The colors, there's always a variety. You see purples, greens, reds, oranges, whites. And the different colors and different vegetables represent the different vitamins and minerals that are in the foods. So if you eat a variety of colors in your meals, you're getting that nutrition. And in my very unofficial study, that's my conclusion. I think that's why they're so healthy. They just, every meal, all the colors are represented. So with that said, I've set out to make a few meals today that are colorful, full of delicious fresh vegetables, grains, and I hope you're going to like it. I've also tried to make it easy for you to make it home without any special equipment. So with that said, we're going to start off with some sushi. And I know not everyone has a sushi mat at home. Sushi is traditionally made on a bamboo mat like this. This is a mat I was given when I attended a cooking school in Japan. And what you do is you just spread your nori or the seaweed sheet out on it and put your ingredients in, and then you roll it. It's not as easy as it sounds. So I didn't think everyone had a sushi mat at home, but I figured most of you may have some size of muffin pan. So I'm going to make these sushi bites in this mini muffin pan, and hopefully it'll inspire you to try it too. First thing I'm going to do is take some plastic wrap and spread it out over the pan. And this is plastic wrap I bring home from Japan every time I go. It never gets all bunched up like the stuff we have here does, so I'm a big fan. So with some plastic wrap spread out over the holes, I'm going to now take some cooking spray. I'm using an avocado oil spray that I got at Trader Joe's. I'm just going to kind of stick this plastic down into the muffin cups. And then I'm going to give a little spray of the avocado oil. And the next thing I'm going to do is use another great product that I found at Trader Joe's. And I normally make my own, but found this one day, and it's made life a lot easier. All it is a jar of chopped up nori, which is the seaweed sheets that you use when you make sushi. And they're just chopped up into little rectangles. And then it's blended with white sesame seeds and black sesame seeds. And what I'm going to do is spread these over the muffin cups where I've put the cooking spray. Pretty generous amount. And the next thing I'm going to do is take my sushi rice. Now this I made ahead of time, but it's really easy to make. You just have to make sure you buy the correct kind of rice. And the correct rice is either a short grain rice or it specifically says sushi rice on it. I'll leave that there. That's also one of our door prizes today. So ask a question at the end. You may go home with a bag of sushi rice. It has a much shorter grain than regular rice, so you definitely need that special kind of rice. What you do is you just rinse it very well. You need to rinse all of the starch off of it. So measure out your sushi rice, rinse it in water, strain it with your hand, and keep draining it, rinsing and straining it until your water runs clear. That's a really important step for successful rice. And then you're just going to use, boil it equal parts water with rice. And once that's cooked and absorbed all the water, you're going to take it off the heat and add rice vinegar. And I use seasoned rice vinegar because it's already sweetened and has some salt to it. So it makes it really easy. So what I'm going to do is put some sushi rice into each of these little muffin tins. The thing about sushi rice is it's very sticky. So I'm going to put a little avocado oil spray on my hand, otherwise I'm going to be picking rice off my hand all day. Okay, so super easy. You can all do this at home. You can even use, at home I have a jumbo muffin pan, and you could make some jumbo sushi bites. I brought this size today because I thought bite size would be nice. I am fortunate enough to have a couple of people here in the audience that'll try the food today. Okay, almost there. So I'm just going to press the rice into the tins and make a little bit of a divot in the middle There we go. Rice is ready. And now we're going to get our ingredients ready that we're going to put in the middle. I have some seasoned tofu. The seasoned tofu cakes are really easy to find. Nearly any store in town has them. I'm just going to cut them into little cubes. Set those aside. I'm also going to make some little matchsticks with some carrots. So we can get really elaborate with the fillings for sushi, but I tried to keep it simple today. We're just going to use some tofu and some vegetables and an egg substitute. Egg in sushi is very popular in Japan. When I was taking some sushi classes when I was over there, they managed to put egg in just about, well, probably 2/3 of the different sushi rolls that we made. So it's very popular there. And they sell, in Japan, they sell sheets of egg. So my substitution, keeping it plant-based, is to use a product called Just Egg. And they make these frozen egg patties. And I brought a box along to show you in case you're interested in trying. Looks like this. And they come frozen, and they're just these flat sheets, and it's exactly how it comes in Japan with real egg. But I'm just going to cut these into little tiny cubes. And the last thing is going to be some cucumber. By the way, my knife, before I fell in love with Japan, I've always used a Japanese blade knife. This is called a santoku blade. And I recently learned that santoku means 3 virtues. So in the case of their knife, what they mean is it's great for chopping, dicing, and mincing. I love this kind of blade because it's really easy to, after you've cut your food, you can use it to transfer whatever you're cutting. All right, I'm just making some thin little matchsticks with the cucumber. And we're just going to use this combination of ingredients to complete our sushi. I also have an avocado here. My whole family doesn't agree with me, but I think some fresh avocado in sushi tastes absolutely fabulous. I see somebody out there nodding. Thank you. I'm not the only one. So, found a beautiful avocado I lucked out. It's peeling nicely on me, or for me. Okay, it's time to stuff our little sushi cups. So I'm just going to take a little of everything for each cup. And just, if you try this at home, have fun with it. There aren't any rules. Just put ingredients in that you know that you enjoy. But make sure it's colorful. Do yourself a favor and eat a variety of colors. It's way too quiet in here. Usually with a big group, there's lots of questions, and I wish I could interact with all of you at home watching today. And And those of you that are here, feel free if you have any questions. Feel free to speak up. So I'm just curious, anybody here today that has tried this egg product that I'm using? No?
I bought it, but I didn't eat it.
Well, I would encourage you to give it a try, especially since it's in your refrigerator. You've already done the hard part by bringing it home.
What other uses can the egg product be for besides sushi?
Well, in my household, this is, oh, sure. Someone just asked for some other uses for this product, the Just Egg Patties. This box comes with four patties that are sealed separately. You can just pop them in the microwave for about 40 seconds and they're hot. In my house, they are a quick and easy breakfast. I had one yesterday morning. I heated one up and I put it on a toasted bagel with some greens and some vegan mayonnaise and made a little breakfast sandwich. So I also use it when I make fried rice. It's just really easy to dice it up and throw it in fried rice. Lots of uses. And because it's frozen, no pressure, no hurry. It can sit there while you come up with some ideas. They also sell a liquid version, but I will warn you that the liquid version is a little bit tricky to use because it sticks. It really, really sticks to whatever, when you're cooking it, you end up losing a large portion of it to the bottom of your pan, no matter how well seasoned or nonstick your pan is. So it was really exciting to see these that someone else has already cooked. All right. So now we'll see if we can get them on the plate.
This would be fun too for kids to do.
Absolutely. The whole family can get involved. I think I'll bring this over. I'm going to put I'll put them over here on the plate, and then I'm going to put another sprinkle of the nori and sesame seeds. But I put them on the pan so that the little cups would have, I don't know if you can see that, just have a nice little colorful coating on the outside. And I love pickled ginger, so if you try these at home, make sure you have some pickled ginger on hand. If you like soy sauce or tamari, that is perfect for these as well. This one needs a little bit more color. Okay, let's put a little more of this on. And I have some fresh ginger here. I saw these edible flowers in the grocery store this morning, and they reminded me of Japan, so I brought these along to make things look pretty today. You see chrysanthemums all over Japan. They love chrysanthemums in Japan. And I'm just going to do a little splash of soy sauce. All right, so here we go. Easy sushi bites, no rolling, no bamboo mat rolling required. And they'll taste just as good. So there we go. I was thinking that the larger muffin pans would make a really nice one. It would look really pretty on a salad plate with some greens, maybe a little bit of vinaigrette of some kind on the side. But I hope you have fun with this idea. I would love for you guys to eat these. Maybe we'll wait till the end. Okay. So let's see. Right. On to the next dish. So the next thing we're going to make comes with a story. I'm going to make what I call a sushi salad. It's made up, and it's my way of copying a dish that someone made for us in Japan. And what I'm going to do is just add a bunch of diced vegetables to a salad bowl. And I'm also going to dice some tofu, just tiny little bite-sized pieces, slightly bigger than we did for the sushi. So we traveled to Japan once. We went as a family. My husband and I have 2 kids. And none of us spoke Japanese except for my daughter spoke a little bit. And we messed up on our travel arrangements. We didn't time our arrival very well, and we arrived during the midday time when everything is closed. I know Mexico, Spain have a block closed a couple of hours at midday as well. So I didn't realize they did that in Japan until we were caught unaware. We arrived, we couldn't check into our hotel. We couldn't buy a bottle of water. We couldn't do anything. So there we sat. It was very hot and very humid that day. And we found a big shade tree on this street. And we turned our luggage on its side, and we all sat down on our luggage, sitting in the shade of this tree that was in front of a house. Well, we hadn't been there very long when this very sweet elderly woman came out and asked us if we were okay. Well, my daughter was able to communicate with her a little bit, and she very quickly ushered us into her house and ended up making one of the best meals I've ever had for us. She wouldn't take any money. She just did that to help us. And that just kind of sums up how the Japanese people are. It's always stayed with me, because I turn that around and I think what I would do if I saw a family of strangers sitting on the street in front of my house. I would probably lock my door instead of think about inviting them in. And she was a 96-year-old widow, lived alone, and she opened her home up to us so that we would have a place out of the heat to wait until we could get in our hotel, and cooked us a meal. And it was absolutely wonderful. And what I'm going to make for you is going to be my version of something she made for us. And I hope you enjoy it. I call it a sushi salad, but if you have any suggestions on a better name, I'm happy to take them. So again, in the bowl, I'm just adding some cucumber, some English cucumber without the big seeds, some carrots, and some tofu. And I'm going to add a few more colorful vegetables to make sure we get all of our rainbow colors. I have some red bell peppers, some orange, I have some yellow, and I have some celery here. So this salad is made with rice. And I'm going to use a combination of white jasmine rice and some brown rice. And I think most of us know that brown rice is better for us, but most of us choose white rice because we might like it better. I would encourage you to try and wean yourself off of the white and to eat more brown rice and whole grains. But if you're having a hard time, I have a suggestion for you. Try blending them until you get used to the nuttier, heavier taste of the brown rice. Thanks to the invention of frozen rice, that can be really easy. Instead of you're cooking 2 different pots of rice, it's just not necessary anymore. I always have in my freezer some frozen rice packs, and nearly every grocery store chain carries these now. These happen to be from Trader Joe's, but I have a packet of brown rice and I have a packet of white jasmine rice. And so this is what I do at home because my husband, who was born in the Philippines, refuses to eat brown rice unless I sneak it in. So what I do is I go half and half when I make something like this. And by having it frozen, it makes it really easy. There's no extra preparation involved. It's just a matter of popping the brown rice in the microwave. The first thing I'm going to do is just finish getting these veggies in here. So did you know with bell peppers, you might think the nutrition in a bell pepper would be pretty similar no matter what color the pepper is. That's actually not true. The nutritional content varies wildly with the color of the pepper. So if you're someone who always goes and does your weekly shopping and every time you throw a green bell pepper in the cart or only red, I encourage you to throw in some different colors because you will be getting different nutrients. So I'm kind of embarrassed right now. My knife blade is not as sharp as it should be. And I'm going to blame it on the remodel that seems to never be ending in my kitchen at home right now. A lot of my kitchen things are in storage, and my sharpener seems to be one of them. So I have a dull knife, which is a big no-no for a chef, but there you go. All right, I'm just going to toss the vegetables a little. We have a really nice blend, and also have the tofu in there. So I'll let that sit. I'm going to let my rice continue to cool. And I'm going to make a salad dressing to go on this. And our salad dressing today is going to be a lemon matcha dressing. And I love to use matcha in as many ways as I can come up with because 1, it's absolutely fabulous for you. 2, it makes everything a fun green color. And I think everybody should add a little matcha to their diet. There's all kinds of medical information out there, health information on the benefits of matcha. And most of the information out there recommends about a teaspoon a day. So if you have it a couple of different ways in your daily diet, then you're getting your teaspoon in. So what I'm going to do right now is make our salad dressing with some fresh lemon. So I have a little cup here. I have some vegan sugar and a little bit of salt.
Where did you find that gadget?
On the internet. They're available on Amazon. It's pretty neat. I have a little handheld one that I use for a lot of things, but this one's kind of neat because it's bigger, and we bought it specifically to juice some pomegranates. And I thought with the bigger cavity it would be a lot easier. But it works really well, so I use it for a lot of different things. So there's our fresh lemon juice. Smells fabulous. What's that? So vegan sugar, that's a great question. Vegan sugar is sugar that is not processed with gelatin or ground animal bones. So a vegan sugar or a natural sugar will have a darker color to it. A popular brand, Sugar in the Raw, you know that it's darker and the little grains are a little bit more coarse. For the regular sugar, the most common sugar, it's bright white and it's perfect little crystals. Well, that sugar became bright white because they send it through a filtering process, which is a gelatin filter. And it takes all of the brown color out of it and leaves you with a white product. So the vegan sugar has not been set through the animal filter, and the color is a light brown and the pieces are irregular. Yeah. So I figure that not necessary to use animal bones for my sugar. It's pretty easy to find. And also organic sugar isn't, even if it doesn't say vegan sugar, organic sugar is not processed that way either. I'm going to put a little grapeseed oil in here. And I'm going to put some sesame oil. And I love the flavor of the sesame oil. If you try this recipe, make sure you get the toasted sesame oil. It's a dark brown color instead of being clear, and it tastes absolutely fabulous. I'm going to put a little black pepper in there. Actually, a lot of black pepper. And then I'm going to put some matcha in. So if you're not familiar with matcha, matcha is green tea. And what makes matcha different than regular green tea is when you consume matcha, you're eating the whole tea leaf. If you were just to have a cup of green tea with the tea bag, you dunk your tea bag and then you discard the tea bag and drink your tea. When you drink matcha, you're consuming the whole tea leaf. So matcha is 10 times more potent than green tea because of that. I'm going to put about a teaspoon in here. If you already shop for matcha and you notice that the price varies wildly on matcha, it's because the quality really varies. I encourage you to buy the best quality that your budget will allow because matcha is really packed with nutrients. It's high in vitamin C, A, K, E, B6, B12. So it's very energizing, the B6 and the B12, and then it also has caffeine. So it's a great pick-me-up, but it's loaded with those nutrients. So it also happens to be really good for you. So the only thing is matcha is hard to blend in. So I'm going to use a mixer instead of doing it by hand so that all of our matcha will break up. hopefully that did the trick. So it's a little thicker than I want, so I'm going to add a little bit more with my sesame oil and my grapeseed oil. I'm just going to stir that around. And I wish you guys could smell this. It smells fabulous, if I do say so myself. I smell the sesame oil. And I just want to make sure I have the flavor right, so. It's good. I'm going to add a smidge more sweetener.
Where do you think the best place to find the matcha?
Honestly, online. A lot of local stores sell several varieties of it. I think I've purchased it at nearly every store in town. But honestly, the best value is online, Amazon. A little bit more. Do any of you drink matcha? No?
Not real matcha. I've had matcha milk tea, but not straight up.
That's matcha, that counts. Well, you know what, there are some out there that are made with almond milk or oat milk. Maybe give those a try.
I've just ordered it. Just matcha milk tea.
Yeah.
Could you use honey instead of sugar?
You could. Honey is not considered vegan, though, but it is an option. It's an animal product, so it's not considered vegan, but that works, or some agave. Okay, I think it's ready. So I'm going to combine everything now. Let my rice cool a little bit. I'm going to add the jasmine rice. And I'll stir that around. And now the brown one. So nearly every meal in Japan that I've had has come with either rice or noodles of some sort. They're definitely staples. Okay, I'm going to add in a little dressing now. It's going to turn my salad a funky green color, but that's okay. You can also use your favorite salad dressing on this dish. But I think the lemon matcha and sesame really complement it well. And now I'm going to add some nori like we used before, and the sesame seeds.
Did you ever put scallions in it?
Thank you. I have scallions somewhere that are supposed to be in there. Here they are. Thank you. Thank goodness you were here because it needs the scallions. Absolutely. So what we're going to do is put it in a bowl over some mixed greens. So salads in Japan caught me off guard. They're almost exclusively a breakfast item. Don't find them served at any other meal. A little bit more dressing. Okay. Let's get some scallions. And if I had a sharp knife, I could make these look a lot prettier, but I'll be lucky just to get them cut with this my dull knife. Okay, I'm going to mix some in, and I'll use a little bit for garnish as well. Okay, there we go. We have a very filling, hearty salad with all of the flavors of sushi. And the egg actually would go really well in here too. But here's a sushi salad. And I have a lot left over, so. Okay, I'm going to move this aside. So our next dish is going to be a ramen bowl. And ramen bowls are available everywhere you turn in Japan. They are available down in the subway tunnels. They're available in the nicest restaurants. They're available in the local 7-Eleven. And that may sound funny, but people actually eat meals, particularly like business people on a lunch break, from 7-Eleven and then a chain that they have there. I know in this country that's not where we would go to get a nice meal on our lunch break, but you can truly get a decent meal at a place like that. Everything from a ramen bowl to a sandwich. We noticed staying in Tokyo that when the lunch hour came near, all of a sudden lines would form outside the doors and like wrap down the sidewalk of the 7-Elevens. What on earth is that all about? And soon realized that they're actually a place where people eat a meal. Or buy a meal, I should say. All right. Going to move this aside, and we're going to move on to our ramen bowl. We're going to do a vegetable and tofu ramen with a pumpkin miso broth. And pumpkin, just because of the time of year it is right now. Thought it would be nice to use some pumpkin. And it's also a really great way to thicken our broth and make it a little heartier by using some pumpkin. So I have a few veggies I'm going to cut. And then we'll start our broth. But does everybody know what this guy is? Good. Different ways to cook it. I have if I was making a large portion, like a family platter of it, I'd probably leave it almost whole and sear it and use it. But I'm going to cut it down a little bit because I have a small serving bowl today. But loaded with nutrients, got the dark green and the white color, so you know you're getting a lot of good things out of it. I'm just going to cut it down a bit. Like that. We've got some cilantro for garnish in a bit. And I've got a couple of different kinds of mushrooms. We've got some shiitakes, which are very popular in Japan, as are just about any type of mushroom. The next time I go to Japan, I'm going to go tour a mushroom farm. They have tours where you can actually come and help on the farm as part of your tour. So I'll see if I can rope my family into doing that with me. I might be there by myself. We'll see.
I'll go.
You'll go? Fabulous. The mushroom farms, they have these special logs that they drill holes in, and then they put the mushroom spores in them. And then they put the logs out in the forest. But the logs have to be rotated for the mushrooms to grow properly. So they have tourists that come in to see the farm. They put them to work rotating logs. I can do that. I think it sounds like great fun.
Is that all over Japan or a certain area?
Anywhere they grow mushrooms. This in particular, where I'm headed, is the mountains. Do you know where Nagano is? It's where they held the Winter Olympics many years ago. It's a big agricultural area, and they grow a lot of the country's food in that area. I'm working on some destination cooking classes there as well. I'm going to be doing that. Well, we'll see when travel gets back to normal, but it's something that I was just starting to work on when the pandemic hit. So I think I'm going to, I'll teach some cooking classes, and I'll pair it with a visit to a mushroom farm to flip some logs or do something like that. So in Japan, the broths tend to be like a clear broth. I'm going to make this broth a little heartier than what you would traditionally find. So if you go to Japan after this, my stuff looks a little different. I know, I did that on purpose. All right. I'm going to turn this on and cook some vegetables. I'm going to put a little grapeseed oil in here. Yeah, that, and it's got a very mild neutral flavor. I can use it in sweet things, savory things. It doesn't interfere with the flavor of anything. All right. So it looks like I've been rambling so much that I need to focus on cooking or we're not gonna have enough time. I'm also gonna add a little bit of sesame oil just for the flavor. And then for the tofu in the ramen bowl, I'm going to use these frozen tofu cakes that you can find in the stores. They're just little puffed squares of tofu. In Japan, what they'll do is float this on the top of your ramen bowl, but they kind of have a chewy texture to them, and I'm not as proficient with chopsticks as some people, so I find it very difficult to try and eat that. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to chop it down into little bite-sized squares so it's easier to manage in the finished dish. Okay. I'm going to cook my mushrooms first and put them aside. You smell the sesame? Yeah? Good. I'm trying not to drop stuff on the beautiful carpeting here in the library, but maybe a little bit on the floor. Okay, so for seasoning for these mushrooms, I'm going to use coconut aminos. Any of you use coconut aminos? Very similar to soy sauce, but it's lower in sodium and has a little bit more flavor. And it has the essential amino acids in it. It comes from a coconut blossom, so it adds just a smidge of sweetness. But I really like it as a catch-all sweetener seasoning for vegetables. I'm sorry? This is from Trader Joe's, yes. You can find it just about everywhere, but they happen to have their version of it, and it's wonderful. Okay. I'm going to put these aside in here. Get this back on. And cook the rest of our items here. Jumper? It didn't go on the floor, did it? I want to make sure I get invited back next month when we go to Italy. So, by the way, because of my love and my interest in Japan, I decided that I needed to start learning how to speak Japanese. And because of this wonderful free app that the library has, it's called Mango, I am now sort of speaking Japanese at home when nobody else is listening. But I hope to be comfortable with it by the next time, my next trip. But I would encourage any of you to check out the Mango app. It's free through library membership here, and it is so fabulous. It really breaks down the language, and you can just do it on your phone, just practice a little bit every day, and it really, really makes it easy. So I'm a big fan. I'm very grateful that it's available through the library. Okay. TJ, I apologize. I know you're thinking, oh my gosh, she's going overtime again. I'm sorry. I'm okay? This is giving me flashbacks to my very first class here, and I went so far over, it wasn't just like, I don't even want to think about it too much. I'm a little rusty. The pandemic, I'm kind of out of practice. Okay. Now, I've got some garlic here. Just going to cook that a little bit. So I'm intentionally using my dirty pan that I brown the vegetables in. And the reason for that is this brown coating that's left on the bottom is going to add the most wonderful flavor to our broth. So don't wash your pan. Use that dirty pan. And let that brown coating from your vegetables enhance your broth that you're working on, or whatever, soup, anything. I always use the same pan. Yes, just added some water. I sauteed some garlic and a little bit of sesame oil. And now I've added some water. And as soon as that heats, I'm going to add some canned pumpkin puree. It's really easy to find in all the stores right now, but in most cases it's located right next to the canned pumpkin pie filling. Don't accidentally buy that. That has pumpkin pie flavor and sugar. Just miso, yes. So miso, I'm using a red miso today. And I'm going to put it in at the very end because I don't want to overcook it. There are live cultures in the miso, so it's going to be stirred in at the very end when my dish is a little bit cooler, because I don't want to cook off the benefits of the miso. I'm just adding in some pumpkin now, and you can just add in however much you want based on how thick you want your broth to be. I think you'll find it makes a really nice, rich addition to your broth. I'm going to start, while that heats, I'm going to start assembling the bowl. The other great thing about ramen bowls is that they come together really quickly. You can use so many different kinds of noodles, everything from soba noodles, buckwheat noodles, regular vermicelli. You can use ramen noodles. But I am really enjoying these white yam noodles right now. I don't know if you're familiar with these, but I don't know if you can see the back of this, but this giant 0 right here, that's the calorie content. I don't know if anybody gained weight during the pandemic, but I did. So I thought I would save a few calories and not use wheat noodles, so I'm using these yam noodles. The nice thing is they're pretty easy to find now. This is a brand that Costco has right now. It comes with, I believe, 6 of these packages in a box. And they're pretty neat. You just drain them and rinse them and throw them into your soup, or you can put marinara over them. They're pretty neat. And the other thing I like is with a traditional noodle, when you eat it warm, like in a ramen broth, if you don't eat it quickly, it gets very soggy. The noodles get very soggy. But these, since they're packed in water, stored in water, they're not going to hydrate anymore. So they hold their shape and texture. So we're going to use the Costco version. I'm just going to put it in the bowl here. And to make these bowls, it's just a process of layering your ingredients in. And you can get creative. Just make sure they're colorful. I am going to add just a smidge of spice to this. I'm going to add a little bit of chili paste. And I like things really spicy, but I'm just going to do a mild spice because I know not everybody has burnt their taste buds like I have and likes things extra, extra spicy. Okay. Broth is just about ready. I'm going to stir in some miso now. I've stopped the heat before it came to a boil because, again, I don't want to lose the benefits of my miso. Miso, it's about, this is organic miso, $6 to $8 for this tub, but it lasts forever. It doesn't spoil, and I encourage you to try it if you're not used to cooking with miso. It's a great addition for salad dressings. It is, yeah. I'm putting about 1 tablespoon so far. So normally at the classes I hand out a packet with all the recipes in it. So for this virtual class, I wasn't sure how to handle that. If you want recipes, if you're at home watching and you want these recipes, you can let the library know, and I can come up with maybe a typed version that can be emailed or something. We'll cover you. We'll get you covered. I'll come up with a recipe for you.
Anyone who's interested can just send an email to programming@ranchomiragelibrary.org, and we can forward on those recipes to them.
Okay. Need some pepper. I'm gonna put a little black pepper. It needs just a little bit more of the miso. So you're right, we're gonna end up with about 2 tablespoons all told. It's pretty easy. This one I purchased at Whole Foods, but it's fairly common. It is in the refrigerated section. Most of it is plant-based or vegan. I did grab one today because it had a really cute name and it was in a squeeze tube, and I thought, oh, that'll be super easy for class today. And I've just learned always check the label just in case, and sure enough it had bonito in it, which is fish. So I can't remember the name of it, but it was Miso Easy or something like that. I wanted to give it a try, I really did, but then I read the label. The label there.
Shannon, did you want to take a couple questions from our audience as you're
Yes,
wrapping
please.
up this dish?
Yeah, thank you, TJ.
So we've had several questions, thanks. And if anyone has another that they'd like to ask before the end of our program today, now's the time to do so. But a couple questions on the Just Eggs product.
Yes,
Phyllis was wondering, does that come frozen?
it does come frozen. It's available, looks just like this in the freezer section. Definitely Whole Foods, I believe Walmart as well.
Great. And then another product that was used earlier, Gary asked, where can he find the nori chips that were used in that first sushi recipe?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part.
Where can you find the nori chips that
Oh.
were used in the first sushi recipe?
Trader Joe's. And I think he should win a bottle of them since he asked the question. That's one of our door prizes.
We will send some of our people that asked questions some surprises. We have your email if you're on our Zoom today, and so keep a lookout. Gary, that's coming your way.
All right, I'm going to taste our broth one more time, and I think we're ready to build our ramen bowl. And hopefully the library's not too mad at me for running over. Well, definitely, most definitely. Okay, that was my spoon. I'm going to get rid of that one. So what I'm going to do is just arrange these different veggies around the bowl, make it look pretty.
Have you tried the liquid Just Egg in a ramen bowl?
I've used the liquid Just Egg, but the problem is it likes to stick to the pan you're cooking it in. And it spoils, once you open that container, it spoils pretty quickly. So it doesn't have a long shelf life. That's probably one of the biggest reasons I'm a fan of the frozen version. Okay, another ingredient that's very common is corn in a ramen bowl. So I'm going to make a little mound of corn in this one, maybe right in the middle. Turn that off. And do I have everything? Got everything but the broth. So I'm just going to pour some broth on there. And this will be ready to enjoy. I'm sorry, I'm very rusty. I haven't done this since before the pandemic, so I went on longer than I was supposed to. So for those of you that hung in there with me, I really appreciate it. And next month when we visit Italy, I'll move along a little faster. But let's garnish this with some cilantro. And there's our ramen bowl. Are there any more questions?
Thank you so much, Shannon. That was terrific. We do have one last question, and a couple of viewers have noticed the beautiful sign on the easel. Can you tell us what that says?
Yes, it says welcome in two different ways. The top version is just what you might find anywhere in Japan, and the second version of welcome at the bottom is unique to Okinawa. And have to be honest and tell you that I had this at home and I brought it in, and I had my doubts on which way to set it up, but TJ saved the day and looked it up online, and if any of you are read Japanese, hopefully we got it right for you.
All right, well, I think we're at about the point where we're going to wrap up for today. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us, for your great questions. Again, a reminder that this program will be on the Rancho Mirage Library and Observatory's YouTube channel. We'll have that up at the end of the week, and we want to invite you all to join us again next month and then again in December as we continue our culinary journey series with Chef Shannon Bush. Thank you so much.
Thank you.